Next this afternoon on TVS, we enter the world of...
In the time of swords and periwigs and double-skirt coats with coloured lappets, when gentlemen wore ruffles and gold-lace waistcoats of paduasoy and taffeta, Gloucester was a fine, rich city. The folk who lived there knew how to enjoy life, and most of all, at Christmas time.
The mayor will be married on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day in the morning.
Oh, I like a high-spirited girl, Mrs. Speck. And indeed, she should be high-spirited. Just 3 days before our wedding in the cathedral. And what a spectacle that will be.
A spectacle you will be, without a grand coat to your back. It will not do to be seen so dull at your nuptials.
Dull? Dull? We shall deal with your dull this very day. We shall wear finery that shall be the envy of the county.
But where will you find such finery in these 3 days remaining?
Well, I'll have it bespoke, Mrs. Speck. Yes, you know, made to measure. Come, Sam, go before.
Strike the harp and join the chorus.
In those days, there lived a tailor in Gloucester, much respected for his skill. He was called John Pritchard, and gentlemen came from miles around to order their finery from him. He sat in the window of his little shop in Westgate Street from morning till dark. And all day long, while the light lasted, he sewed and snippeted, piecing out his satin and pompadour and lutestring. Stuff had strange names and was very expensive in the days of the Tailor of Gloucester. But although he sewed fine silk and made fine clothes for his neighbors, he himself was very, very poor. And in the winter, very, very cold.
Oh, no waste, no waste. These be too narrow measure. For naught but waistcoats for gentlemen mice and bonnets for their ladies. That's no breadth at all. And cutting across it is no breadth at all. Tippets for mice, ribbons for mobs, for mice.
Mr. Pritchard, the best of this happy season to you.
And worship, Mrs. Spaggs,
His worship has a commission for you.
Oh, yes, I have a commission for you. Now, Mr. Pritchard, you must know that I am to be married 3 days from now on Christmas Day at 12 in the morning.
But Gloucester speaks of nothing else, sir. It's a fine match. Beautiful young lady.
Yeah, well, we That is, I require a fine appearance for this fine occasion. And who better to suit me for it than you, Mr. Pritchard, our tailor of Gloucester?
You have been chosen, Mr. Pritchard.
A great honour, sir, and one that I shall carry out to the best of my poor skill.
Ah, now this is the stuff. Cherry-coloured corded silk. For the waist.
For the coat, embroidered with pansies and roses.
Yeah, embroidered with pansies and roses. Yes, and lined with fine yellow taffeta. Now, for the waistcoat...
Cream-coloured satin.
Yes, cream-coloured satin.
Trimmed with gauze and green worsted chenille.
It would...
A mouse! Oh, nasty vermin! Oh, the place is crawling with them.
They'll never harm you, ma'am. Hunger and cold may hurt the body, but I've never yet heard a mouse bring hurt to anyone.
No, get you down, Mrs. Speck. Sam here will take good care of you.
I interfere to no moist. And now, your worship, to the measurements.
Yes.
The neck is 19 inches.
Oh, yeah.
Its chest is 45.
We'll have a very full skirt and low pockets. I think that should please the people. Oh, and some of those very finely stitched buttonholes that you are so famous for, Mr. Pritchard.
In cherry-coloured silk and twist.
In cherry-coloured silk and twist.
Cherry-coloured silken twist. I'm sure to have some about the place somewhere.
Well, you have very nimble fingers, I hope, Mr. Pritchard, for I am to be married on Christmas Day after matins.
Oh, but today's Wednesday, Christmas Day is on Saturday, but that leaves but 3 days.
Can you do this, Mr. Pritchard? Will you be our man for this job?
So I will. Given health and good light.
We rely on you, Mr. Pritchard. Yeah, do we not, Mrs. Speck?
Oh, we do rely on you, Mr. Pritchard. All Gloucester and the counties will attend. They will expect a sartorial appearance.
Yes, my thought exactly. Now, you'll be wondering what is to be your reward for this labor, Mr. Pritchard. And when the garments are made and delivered fit and ready and in time, 20 guineas shall be yours.
20 guineas?
20 guineas.
20 guineas?
Now remember, Mr. Pritchard, Christmas Day in the forenoon. It wouldn't do to keep everyone waiting, would it, Mr. Pritchard? So, ply your needle well, Master Tailor. We rely on you.
12 of the clock. In 3 days' time. 20 guineas.
Yes. 20 guineas. I shall make my fortune. The cloth to be cut on the bias, 19 inches round the neck, 45 round the chest. 20 guineas. 'Tis more than I earned in a whole year. This work shall be my finest.
That day in Gloucester was bitterly cold. The snow clouds came down, and it was early dark. But the tailor worked on by candlelight, cutting and shaping his cloth, moving it this way and that, while the scraps of cloth and cherry-colored corded silk gathered round his feet. And before long, the snow began to come down, great soft flakes of it. And even his candles were not enough for the tailor's tired old eyes.
There. Ah, there's no breadth at all, and cut on a cross. No breadth at all cut, ready for sewing in the morning. I shall make my fortune 20 guineas. Now, there's 12 pieces for the coat, and 4 pieces for the waistcoat, and pocket flaps, the buttons and the lining, and the... And here is silver braid and gold thread, and a cherry-coloured silken twist for the buttonholes, but... Oh, well, I haven't sufficient for 1 and 20 holes. Oh, let's see. Oh, cherry-coloured silken twist, but not enough for the whole coat. There's no more twist. Oh, alack. There's all my money gone and no more twist. Oh, alack. I'm worn to a rattling and like to catch a cold. Oh, pray God it may not turn to a fever. Oh. I have work enough for a whole week.
Bring me pine logs hither, thou and I will see him dine, when we bear them thither. Page and monarch, forth they went together, through the rude winds wild lament, and the bitter weather.
Our tailor did not live in his shop. No one lived there at night except for the little brown mice, and they run in and out without any keys. He slept at night in his lodgings in College Court, next to the way to College Green. Although it was not a big house, the tailor was so poor he only rented the kitchen. He lived all alone with his cat, which was called Simpkin. And he was also very fond of mice, so he gave him no satin fur coats.
We shall make our fortune, but I am wont to ravelling, for I have no more twist. I'm not in my usual health. I have a fever coming on. Oh, Simpkin. Take this groat, which is our last 4 pence, and Simpkin, take this china pitkin. It's a penn'orth of milk, a penn'orth of bread, and a penn'orth of sausage, yeah? And Simpkin, with the last penny of our groat, buy me a penn'orth of cherry-coloured silken twist, so that I may finish Mayor Raxter's coat. And lose not the last penny, or I am undone and worn to a thread paper, for I have no more twist. And think, Simpkin, 20 guineas. You shall live like a rich merchant. Milk twice a day. Oh, come on, Simpkin. I'm not in good health. I have a fever. Please. Oh. I shall make my fortune. Mayor of Gloucester to be married. Christmas Day morning. Oh, can you afford it? A coat, cut on the bias, and an embroidered waistcoat. A shirt, suit, taffeta. See. What can that be? How curious. I wonder... And the pocket holes are set about with thread of gold embroidered. And this is passing strange. Simkin, you have the milk and the bread and the sausages. Where's my twist? Oh, Simkin! Today's Wednesday, the mare is to be married this Saturday. I cannot finish the coat without the last piece of twig. Twist? My twist, Simkin. My twist. had so much work. And no more twist.
Clock and all's well, to the clock and all's well. The snow it falls on field and fell. To the clock and all's well.
So the tailor took to his bed, sick in body and troubled in his mind. He had but 2 days left in which to finish the mare's finery. And no assistant in his shop. No twist to finish the work. And he himself in a poor way. 'Twas a bleak outlook for our tailor of Gloucester.
Mustn't keep them waiting, Mr. Pritchard. Do it all. Make haste, man, make haste.
Now you need as well, Mr. Tailor. All of Gloucester will be there, and the county too.
And the county too.
Meddle not with his worship's servants. We'll set thee in the stock cells. Show a proper respect.
In the tailor's shop here in Westgate Street, the embroidered silk and satin lay cut out on the table. 1 and 20 buttonholes. But who should come and sew 'em when the window was barred and the door fast locked? All that day and through the next night, the tailor was ill of a fever and like to get worse.
Oh. No.
You are a humbug, sir. An impostor. Call yourself a tailor? I'll have the law on you, sir. Paint me crimson, else you shall shut up shop and never open more.
They say it takes 12 tailors to make a man. How many does it take to make a coat fit for a man? It must be ready by 12 o'clock, sir. 12 o'clock!
And all's well, 12 o'clock on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve? Monday left to stitch the coat. Alack, I'm undone. I must rise and set to work. Oh. Well, it's ready, but... This is Jericho and simple fish. Cut by... This guy's a guy, 220.
Out of doors, the market folk went trudging to the snow to buy their geese and turkeys, and home again to bake their Christmas pies. But there would be no Christmas dinner for Simpkin and the poor old tailor of Gloucester, with not a stitch done on the coat.
fast locked. Now, where can he be? He knows that the mayor is getting married tomorrow. What's got into the man? How shall I explain to his worship? Never trust a tailor.
Maybe.
Maybe what? Cat got your tongue? Can't speak out loud.
Maybe he works at home, ma'am.
No tailor works at home. They need their paraphernalia.
Pussy, it must be cold out there. Have you dined well? He keeps his dinner in teacups, you know. Not a very safe place for it. Nasty vermin. The place is crawling with them.
Christmas morn? What, I have lain here for 3 days and the mare's colt not yet started, and I have no more twist nor coin to buy none. Oh, Simpkin, you are a prince amongst cats, and you shall dine like one. Milk twice a day. Oh, alack, I am worn to a ravelling, but I have my twist. Oh, so little time and the mare to be married at noon. We must hasten, Simpkin, to the shop.
At last, Mr. Pritchard. Well, I hope the garments are ready. Where have you been these past 3 days? Lying abed, I dare say, instead of plying your needle. Will you have a contract with his worship, Mr. Pritchard? It will not please him to look foolish in front of the people.
The mayor does approach, ma'am. He's all ready.
Ah, Mr. Pritchard, a Merry Christmas to you. All is well, I trust. Wouldn't do to keep my good lady waiting, would it? I can't wait to see it. Well, ma'am, what do you think? Will it suit me?
I'm not sure, sir.
I fear it is not quite finished, sir.
Not quite finished? What do you mean? Give me that key, man. Oh, stripe me purple. What, Mrs. Speck? Look at this.
I am looking, sir. I stand astounded.
Oh, not quite finished. Your humor, eh, Mr. Pritchard?
Never trust a tailor who lacks humor.
My sentiment exactly. Oh. What, Mr. Pritchard? A humorous tailor of Gloucester. Oh, this is fine work. Fine work.
I do not deserve your praise, sir.
Oh, and modest, too. We shall learn from you, yes. Mr. Pritchard.
Sir, just one last little job, sir. A few moments only.
Now, Mrs. Speck. How do I look? Dull now, Mrs. Speck? Eh? Oh, what a fine finish, and such neat, small stitches. Does it do me proud, Mrs. Speck? Sam, does it do me proud?
Oh, 'tis the most beautifulest coat ever worn by a mayor of Gloucester, sir.
It does you proud, sir.
But it takes the tailor to make the man. Oh, you have done me proud, Mr. Pritchard, and this shall not go unrewarded. Here, sir, are your 20 guineas.
Oh, sir. Oh. Oh, keep.
This shall do you good, Mr. Pritchard. You may depend upon it. This is work so fine. Maybe the fairies had a hand in it.
Oh, yeah. The fairies.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Bellows. The whole city and your bride await, your worship. When you are ready, I shall go before you.
You are right, Mr. Bellows. Time, and high time, we were gone. Mustn't keep the good lady waiting. Wouldn't do, Mr. Bellows. Wouldn't do at all.
Worship!
Oh! You are to come to our wedding, Mr. Pritchard. You are to be our honored guest. Well, shall I cut a dash, ma'am? Does it strike the eye?
All that and more, sir.
'Twas made by the fairies, secretly during the night.
His worship the mayor is to be married today. 'tis Christmas Day in the morning. Oh, yeah.
Citizens of Gloucester, my people, greetings to you on this Christmas morn, wherein the Saviour of this world was born. I and my bride thank you for the goodwill that you have shown us. But more particularly, we wish to thank our Tailor of Gloucester, Mr. Pritchard, for suiting us so finely this day. He has the most remarkable shop, where, they say, coats are made at night by the fairies.
No, 'tis true. They are so.
A Merry Christmas, the best of the season be yours, and a Happy New Year.
From that day began the luck of the Tailor of Gloucester. He grew quite stout, and he grew quite rich. He made wonderful waistcoats for all the wealthy merchants of Gloucester and all the fine gentlemen from the countryside round about. Never before were seen such ruffles, such embroidered cuffs and lappets, but his buttonholes were the greatest triumph of all. I wonder they could be made by a little old man in spectacles with old crooked fingers and a thimble on his thumb. The stitches of them buttons were so small, they looked as if they'd been stitched by mice.